So in this installment of the Emacs series, we're going to read a file into Emacs, which will teach us a bunch of different skills that are necessary. And before we do that, you can see I've opened Emacs here on the left-hand side. Let's learn how to increase the font size, because this might be too small for you to see. So I've actually opened a scratch buffer. This is another Emacs editor where I'm just going to type the commands that we're going to use. So in order to change the font size, you use the command Control X, Control equal sign, and this is followed by then followed by plus, minus, or 0 in order to change the scale. So I'm going to type this command in, Control X, Control equal sign, in my Emacs buffer, Control X. The first command you can see, the second you can't see anymore. But what you see in the mini buffer in the echo area below is the instruction use plus, minus, or 0 for further adjustment. So while you see this, you can now press plus in order to make the font larger, or minus. Until you type any other command, this is what you can do. And if you find yourself, you have made it too big and you want to go to the standard, you can type 0, which gets you to the standard size. I'm going to choose this one because it's nice to read. So let me just go back to the tutorial. What we want to do is we want to download a text file from GitHub, where I've prepared a sample file. We want to open an empty file inside Emacs, and we want to copy or insert the file into Emacs and then save it. Now, those are the 4 steps we're going to do. First of all, you have to open a browser and go to this address. I have in the text file put a link in, so I'm just going to click on this link. And here you see the text file. It's called emacs.txt, and it's just a bunch of text, nothing else. Now, in order to copy this, you can right-click here, or if it's a bit larger on your screen, you can also see the symbols. So these are the same symbols. I'm going to make it a bit smaller and just copy the raw contents. So when I do that, I get a check mark, which means now the contents of this file are in my clipboard. If this does not work, in the computer lab it doesn't work, then you can go to View Raw, which opens the same file as text, and you can now do Control A and Control C to copy all that, or right-click and simply copy it. In either case, we have now the contents of this file, just the text, in our PC clipboard. Now, let's get back to the tutorial. The next step is to go to the Emacs window and type CXCF, which on the keyboard, again, looks like Control X followed by Control F. So I'm going to go over into Emacs and type Control X, Control F. Now, if you watch the echo area, the message that Emacs sends us is find file. So it expects a file name. And the first symbols here you see is a tilde and a slash. And tilde and slash, I'm just going to type this here, tilde and slash, this is the same as our home directory. I'm going to make this into a little table. It doesn't work here. So this is the home directory, or also the Emacs default directory, it is called. And typically, you can see in a moment how this looks like. On a Windows computer, it'll look like something like that. So it's users and then your name, very likely. That's probably your home directory on Windows. On Mac OS, it will have a different name. Now, getting back here, Emacs is, while we are in another window, still waiting. If I click here and I go down, it's still waiting for the name of the file. And the name of the file that we wanted was emacs.txt. So we're going to type emacs.txt followed by enter or return. So I type enter and the new file appears. How do I know the new file appears? Well, because down here I can see the buffer name is emacs.txt, and I can see this file is writable. It's not modified, so it's just an empty file. Yeah. Now, remember, I have the text in the clipboard. I'm going to type Control-Y to yank or copy the text into this file. So I'm going to put this down here. CY is yank clipboard into buffer. That's what we have done here. And that's it for now. That's almost the last bit. Now there can be some issues here. It could be that if you type Control X, Control F, you get something that looks like this. If you watch the echo area on the left hand side, that looks like, I don't know, like this: program, files, Emacs, something like that. If you have that, this means that you are in an area where you can actually not put a file in if you don't have the privileges. So you may have to go back all the way and type /emacs.txt. Yeah, .txt. Now I don't want to do that again since I already have the file. I want to abort this command, and if you remember, aborting goes with Control G. Control G just puts me back to the original place. Maybe I should put that in my list as well. Command we already discussed. No? So Control G, abort Emacs key sequence. Now the last bit to do here is to save the file. That's all we want to do. The file is unsaved. You can see this now because down here these indicators changed. It's still writable, but there's a star now instead of a dash. And the next one shows the buffer as modified. And if I would try to shut down Emacs, it would actually tell me that this file is unsaved. It would leave it in this state for me to get back to next time I come into Emacs. But of course, better is to save it. And you save it by typing CXCS or Control X, Control S. Yeah, so I'm going to do this in Emacs, Control X, watch the echo area, Control S, and the file will immediately be saved. And here you can also see that it doesn't show anymore // it actually shows the entire home directory that I'm using. As I said earlier, C:/user/Birkenkra is my home directory. Now there's a slight issue here, which I have addressed in some of the quiz questions for the class, namely that the Unix path is divided by /, while the Windows path is divided by \. So I'm just going to maybe log this here. So what you see here, that's a Windows style path. And if you type this in Emacs, it'll look like this, which is what you see in the echo area. So this is the Unix style of doing that. Okay, we have saved the file. I think we're done for this part, and you should now see the saved file down here.